It can never be said that I don't do these video reports without your best interest at heart. I figured it's Monday morning, you've got the weekend hangover, you've had a football orgy, and now you have to be woken up just in case your Keurig brewer isn't working. I figured I'd wear this loud tie to just kind of waken you up, to brighten your day, to bring a little sunshine with the yellow shirt and enough orange here to mimic the sun for your life on this Monday morning. Hi, everyone. Al DeMarco here. This, of course, the Monday Video Report. Listen, I'm going to give you a free pick in just a moment on the Redskins-Cowboys over-under. Quick congratulations going out to Craig Davis, because Craig Davis, this is year number 7 that he has been at the site. He has been one of the most consistent NFL handicappers at the site and college football handicappers at the site. And what do you expect from the guy that used to be president of fantasyfootball.com? Well, 100 dime max wager plays in the NFL over the past 6.5 years, 32 and 17, including 6 out of 8 this season. But yesterday, the first ever 150 dime play of his career in the NFL. And how easy was New Orleans last night over Green Bay? So kudos to him. And FYI, you got that play for just $49, a savings of $70 off the regular price. And Matt Rivers, how many times can I keep talking about Matt Rivers? Well, as many times as necessary, as long as he keeps winning. Great weekend for Matt Rivers, continuing a phenomenal month of October. 4th ever blank check, waived the rating pro football game of his career. Houston, a 3.5 point road favorite at Tennessee, rolling 30-16 yesterday. That after hitting his 3rd and 4th ever college waived the rating releases, with Cincinnati clubbing South Florida on Friday night and TCU trampling Texas Tech on Saturday. Matt Rivers now 9-1 in 11 years with blank check waived the rating games in all sports, including a perfect 8-0 sweep this month. And you've gotten them all at discounted prices, including yesterday's, which you got for just $55 as the half price play of the day. Hey, listen, guys, let me give you the free pick. And then if you'd like to stick around, I'm going to give you what I consider a little weekend in review in terms of the NFL. You know, for me, the next NFL weekend starts on Sunday night. Because that is when and I started before the Sunday night game even starts. I go ahead and I've got to read every single recap. I try to read the different beat writers that I follow on a regular basis. I also look at all the box scores and analyze it, because it's those things that really prep you for the following week and really gets you thinking about the lines that you're seeing posted on the board. And I can already tell you, there are certain games that I've already isolated for next Sunday. Now, I am not one of these guys, and you'll hear them, the sharps. You know, they're trolling at the sports books on Sunday night, taking advantage of the numbers before the lines move. Oh, please, it's an old wives' tale. Now, I guarantee you, every sharp, guys like Anthony Red, too, will tell me I am full of it, but I just think it's all a bunch of malarkey, because every game is a 50-50 betting proposition. For every line that moves this way, you'll find a game where the line moves that way. I don't buy it. These guys that always talk about, I make my money because I get my prices in, I get my action in early, I'm taking advantage of the moves or the lines before the lines move. They're like guys that bet baseball dogs. You always hear about the dog that wins. You don't hear about the 7 that lost before the dog that won. So just my personal opinion. So I'm going to give you a quick tour around what's going on. As for today, hey, it's Monday, so we might as well talk about Steve Buden's Cali Cartel Crew. 100-dime NFL winner, number 7 in a row. Your Cowboys-Redskins side, their 5th straight Monday night 100-dime winner. Steelers, 49ers, Seahawks, and Chiefs, each of the last 4 Mondays. You've got them all at least half price off, and no different today. Half price off. They are 12-3-1 in football this season. 100-dime NFL winner, number 7 in a row. 100-dime Monday Night Football winner, number 5 in a row. You get it for half price by using coupon code HAMMER. I wanted to use Hammer Time, but unfortunately our coupon system does not allow for 2 words or words to be hyphenated. So, HAMMER it is. HAMMER. HAMMER. All your other promos, discounts, etc. can be found over on the homepage. And that's now. Let's talk about the game here tonight. Listen, the Dallas Cowboys have played at such a high level here the past couple of weeks, going to Seattle, pulling off the big upset win, coming home, withstanding a late charge by the Giants to take care of business against the Giants. When I look at the number here tonight, I factor in two things into my decision to tell you to play this one under. One, the Cowboys cannot possibly continue at such a high level of play. They've got to have a stinker in there. They played so well, so consistently since losing their season opener. Sooner or later, they've got to hit that little bump in the road. And I think that bump in the road comes here offensively tonight. As for the Redskins, they're going to probably go with Colt McCoy at quarterback. Do you see Colt McCoy putting a lot of points on the board? But at the same time, I just don't see Dallas putting a lot of points on the board either here tonight. The one thing the Redskins can do defensively is put pressure on your quarterback. They're an average team at stopping the run. So DeMarco Murray with the 7 straight 100-yard rushing games, yeah, he could get number 8. But again, I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I don't anticipate the total of this game getting anywhere close to the posted price. And right now, and I'm doing this video report here very late on Sunday night. Right now, you're looking at a price at 49.5 points. The way I look at this is I think the total is going to come right around 42, 43 points. So I like the under in the game. Am I in love with the total? Absolutely not. But hey, you wanted my opinion, and I gave it to you. Hey, let me give you a quick roundup of what happened here Sunday in the NFL. How about Detroit and London in the the Sunday morning matinee game that nobody cared about? I don't even think most Lions or Falcons fans cared about. And even though Wembley had a bunch of people showing up for the game, nobody there cares about it. It's like a spectacle. That's all it is. It's like when they have the nonstop concerts every other weekend in Hyde Park. Everybody shows up because even if you're like 17 miles away from the stage, you were there. That's what the NFL is in London. I was there a couple of years ago when Jacksonville made the announcement they were going to play like a series of 3 games in London. The next day in the paper, nobody cared. Nobody cared. Hi, the NFL's coming. Oh, wow. Nobody cared. It didn't interrupt their tea and crumpets. Hey, listen, Detroit outscores Atlanta 22-0 in the second half for the 1-point win. Lions still don't cover the spread, so that's all that matters. The Bears, how about the Bears? They have allowed 27 or more points in 4 of their last 5 games after giving up 51 to the Patriots yesterday. Oh my God, is that team just crumbling from the inside out? How about the Dolphins? 3-1 now, straight up. In their last 4 games, with the lone loss coming to the Packers when Aaron Rodgers threw that TD pass with 3 seconds to play. But let's also consider who the Dolphins have played. Who did the wins come against? The Raiders in London, at Chicago, at Jacksonville. Oh, by the way, they host the Chargers next. The Chargers, that same team that has lost 2 in a row. How about Andy Dalton yesterday? Fumble, interception. That let an 11-point lead in the fourth quarter evaporate, allowing the Ravens to go up 24-20. And then the 1-yard sneak with 57 seconds to play. And the Bengals win at 27-24. So, with a minute to go in that game, you're sitting pretty with Baltimore, a 3 to 3.5 point favorite, up by 4, on the road, and the under. Dalton scores, boom, gone. Game goes over. Bengals get the cover. FYI, the Bengals have now won 5 of the last 6 straight up at home in the series. They complete the season sweep, and that's how the cookie crumbles when it comes to covers. Even though I took the Colts as a free play yesterday, I did mention that I was concerned with Indianapolis because a team that had been playing at such a high level was due, like I said about the Cowboys-Redskins tonight, in terms of the Dallas offense, was due for a little hiccup. I didn't see a hiccup in the form of Ben Roethlisberger throwing for 522 yards and 6 touchdowns. But then again, think about this. As I pointed out yesterday, the Colts had won 5 straight games, and they had allowed just 15 points per game average in that stretch. But look at who they had played, the quarterbacks they had faced. Andy Dalton, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Joe Flacco, Jake Locker, Chad Henne, Blake Bortles. Well, Roethlisberger just a little bit better. So the defense had allowed all those points, 31 and 30, to the Eagles and the Broncos in the first 2 games. That defense showed up again yesterday for the Colts. Meanwhile, the Indianapolis offensive line, they couldn't do anything to keep the Steelers' pressure off of Luck yesterday. But listen, guys, before you start penciling the Steelers for the Super Bowl, remember what this team did against Tampa Bay. Remember what this team did against Jacksonville. And let's also remember this team, the Steelers, they still can't play any defense. Yesterday was just one of those days. However, I will give credit to Ben Roethlisberger, 18-1 straight up at home in October games during his career. Here's an interesting play for you to consider as the season progresses, and it's a halftime play. Do you know the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have lost 16 consecutive games straight up when their opponent scores first? Yep. You know, Tampa yesterday, through three quarters, just had 97 total yards in offense. Hell, they only finished with 225. Hey, key for Minnesota yesterday, they kept everybody off of Teddy Bridgewater's back. And if you look at Teddy Bridgewater, he looks as thin as his pencil, and he looks like he could be snapped like a popsicle stick. Bridgewater was sacked just once after hitting the turf 13 times in the previous two losses to the Lions and the Bills. Kansas City, woohoo! The Chiefs got the job done yesterday against St. Louis. You realize the Chiefs are now an incredible 3-6 against the spread as a home favorite during Andy Reid's tenure. But I mean, listen, in all seriousness, Alex Smith just surgically took apart that St. Louis defense yesterday. I mean, Rams got no rush on him at all. 24 for 28 for 226 yards. Meanwhile, the KC defense, 7 sacks of Austin Davis. The St. Louis offensive line has had all types of injury concerns. They lost 2 more players yesterday. I mean, this team is really beaten up in the defensive backfield as well. Yesterday, I also mentioned in my video report that I came real close to using the Colts as my best bet. Oh, instead, I was very smart. In fact, I outsmarted all of us because instead I used the Jets. I don't know what's more painful, if I had lost with the Jets as I did, or if I had lost with the Colts. At least I could say I could lose with the Colts and not be embarrassed. And listen, I'm not embarrassed. I'm just joking around with you. I mean, listen, after all, I cashed in with Memphis in a blowout of SMU as a 15-9 play on Saturday. Had South Florida on Friday night. Had the Broncos on Thursday night. Had the Steelers and Texans total last Monday night. So, I mean, it's been a hell of a good 2-month run for me. But, oh, my God, the Jets. Bye-bye, Rex. Bye-bye, Gino. Bye-bye, Michael Vick. You're all gone. You might as well go now. I mean, you got nothing to stick around for. 6 more turnovers for New York in that game, 3 each by Gino and Vick. Kyle Orton. A guy who did nothing all summer except sit around by the phone and say, hey, do you want to sign me? Okay, I'll take your money. He comes in. They put him in the starter. They bench E.J. Manuel, and he's 3-1 as a starter. He completed 10 passes yesterday, 4 of them went for touchdowns. That's how bad the Jets secondary is. Houston, Matt Rivers' big play on the Texans yesterday. Do you realize they were down 3-0 before reeling off 27 straight points? And one of the keys, you know, when you go against Tennessee, if you can run the ball, you got a great chance to roll. Because Tennessee coming into that contest had the number 22 ranked rushing defense in the league. Arian Foster, 151 yards yesterday. Houston, by the way, 6-1 ATS roll in that series. Did you watch the Eagles-Arizona game? Now, I'm a lifelong Eagles fan, okay? And you don't have to be a rocket science to know that the Eagles secondary, other than Malcolm Jenkins, is just pathetic. Kyrie Williams, big mouth, all talk. You know, more coverage areas, more blown coverages, more times being beat than anything else. Nate Allen, though, the safety, who I think they spent a second-round draft pick on a few years ago, the only reason he is there, I'm convinced the only reason he is still starting for the Eagles is because every other available safety has 2 broken legs and is unable to play in the entire world. That has to be the only reason. I mean, the Eagles had that game. You have Carson Palmer deep in his own territory, long. Palmer, 75-yard touchdown pass to John Brown, the rookie out of Pittsburgh State. I didn't even know Pittsburgh State existed. I certainly didn't know Pittsburgh State had a damn football team. John Brown blew by these guys. Kyrie Williams on one side, I think it was. Nate Allen, who was the safety, who was supposed to be the deep safety valve. That's why they call them safeties. I don't know what the hell they were thinking about. 75 yards later, boom. Minute 21 to play, and that's how the Eagles suddenly are finding themselves looking up at the Cowboys in the standings here today. Horrible game, though, in terms of the flow and the ebb and the flow of the game because, I mean, the two teams, 21 penalties for 198 yards. Oh, my God. I'm surprised they didn't whistle them for having their socks on backwards. Jesus. Cardinals now 10-2 straight up at home under Bruce Arians. You know, the Browns just 2 for 12 on third downs. Only 39 yards rushing yesterday and still managed to beat the Raiders because Brian Hoyer, 19 for 29, 275 yards, no interceptions, not a spectacular game. But listen, you're playing the Raiders. You just have to be good enough to win. That's the bottom line. But this Browns team that at one point was averaging, like 140 yards a game on the ground in its first 4 or 5 games of the season is really struggling to move the ball now. They lost, of course, their Pro Bowl center, Alex Mack, to a season-ending injury. Yesterday, they lost another Pro Bowler, tight end Jordan Cameron, to a concussion. And then finally, let's bring it full circle. Craig Davis, of course, had the Saints last night. Do you know the Saints at home with Sean Payton coaching? So you have to exclude that season when he was suspended. The last 20 games that Sean Payton has coached the Saints at the Superdome, they have won every single one of those games, going 18-1-1 against the spread. I mean, that's a phenomenal number. That is just a phenomenal number when you think about it. Packers, meanwhile, 1-7 against the spread in their last 8 as a road dog. And as I've told you repeatedly this season, Dom Capers has the rep. Dom Capers has the cred. But Dom Capers hasn't had a good defense in Green Bay for a couple of years now. And the Packers can't stop anybody. Saints, by the way, who have don't the Saints play on Thursday night? Yeah, New Orleans at Carolina. Saints in prime time have won 14 consecutive games straight up in 17 of their last 18. So that's a quick little whirl around the NFL for your Sunday action. Best of luck to you guys, and I will talk to you again on Tuesday. By the way, NBA, of course, starting Tuesday, and I'm just going to give you the same speech I tell you every single time when a new season starts. The only time you definitively have an advantage over the odds makers in the first 2 to 3 weeks of any season, because they don't have any more idea of what's going to happen than you do, because preseason games are so meaningless. The NBA, case in point. So you're going to find the softest numbers. You're going to find games that you can jump on, teams that you can jump on, favorites that you're going to be overpaying for just a couple of weeks down the road. And generally, it's the first 6 to 7 games of each team that you have the advantage. And that's why it's really a 2 to 3 week period. So I can tell you, the handicappers here, we all think the exact same way. You come out of the box strong in the NBA. Inevitably, what happens, I think, mostly in the NBA is then you hit a lull. The same way players hit a lull. Sometimes, December, January, it's funny how college then starts taking over in our mindsets collectively, and the NBA becomes a little harder because we focus so much on college basketball at that point. To me, the best NBA season was the one we had a couple of years ago, the strike shortened season, where you had teams playing at least 4 to 5 games a week. You didn't have those lulls in the middle of the week where a team would play Monday, they wouldn't play again until Thursday. Tuesday night, you'd have 3 games. Thursday night, you'd have 2 games. No, you had tons of games, shortened time span. Players may not have liked it, but as a handicapper, it was nirvana, guys, because what happened is you really got, again, going back to that ebb and flow, you really got synced with teams that you were following where you could watch them on a day-to-day basis, especially when you had teams playing 3 games in 4 nights, 4 games in 5 nights. You knew when to push the button to go against them. Hey, it was nirvana, as I said. You're never going to have that until the next NBA strike. God willing, it won't happen anytime soon. Good luck, guys, and I'll catch you again on Tuesday morning.